Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and the brand new Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures from Playmates Toys are starting to hit store shelves. I've got all 4 of the brand new Turtles here, and today, in this video, we are going to focus on Leonardo. So as you can see, Leo comes in that brand new Rise of the TMNT packaging, nice bright colors. We got Leo as he appears in the series in the upper right hand corner, and along the edge of the blister bubble we've got the figure's name, along with a little tagline for him. For Leonardo, in this series he's known as the Trickster. Definitely a bit of an odd little moniker for Leonardo. It's new characterization for him. One of the things I think is really neat on these packages is the sticker right here on the front where it says you can earn pizza points for prizes. This is a cool throwback to the original TMNT toy line with details inside the box. When you flip this around, we've got a nice big bio card for Leo on the back with more animation, along with a great blue burst, and a cool little bio here. All of the turtles in this series are different species of turtles. Leonardo is a red-eared slider, which is why he's got the little red stripes on the side of his head. And he uses the Odachi sword this time, which is similar to a katana, but it's much bigger. It's like a big, giant single sword that he uses. Below that, we've got the cross-cell showing all the figures in the first wave. So, let's go ahead and open this up and get a closer look at Leo. Alright, we've got our new Leonardo outside of the packaging. We will start with the scale, where you can see he's right around 4.5 inches tall. He's roughly about the same height as Donatello. Donatello's pushed a little bit higher because of the little binoculars that he's wearing on top of his head there. But otherwise, scale is about the medium size, with Mikey being the shortest and Raph, of course, being the tallest in this new iteration. So each of those turtles, as mentioned, is a different species. And Leonardo this time around is a red-eared slider. So one of his distinguishing marks are these red lines that you can see going over his eyes there underneath his blue bandana. So that's something that we've not really seen on any version of the turtles in the past. So like I've been saying with a lot of these figures, I feel like the new animated style does a pretty good job of translating to action figure form. One of the things I want to show you on his face here, with the eyes, I feel like the eyes are a little weird on Leonardo. His right eye is a little more squinted, his left eye is a little bigger and more open, and they're also a little off-center. It might just be me. And I don't know, I was wondering if it was like the tampos, like it was just kind of misaligned, but there's definitely a little bit of sculpted work here on the bandana for like the eyebrow or like the inside of the eye, and that's the way it actually is on the sculpt. So I don't know, I don't really like Leo's face on the toy. It just seems a little weird with the eyes to me. Something about it is just off. I don't know, that may not be how everybody feels, but with Leo particularly when I'm looking at him, like it's not so bad from this angle, but when I look at him like this, I don't know, the eyes just look a little wonky to me. I don't know, just my personal feeling on that right there. Otherwise, the figure itself is really nicely made as far as action figures go. I feel like the quality on these new figures is really nice. The plastic feels really good, and the joints are all nice and tight. So let me talk about the articulation here if you haven't seen any of these yet. The head is on that ball-like joint, so you can see the head actually rolls all the way around, can look left, right, slightly up. Good range of motion there. We got the ball-like joints at the shoulders, so your arms can go outwards, forwards, and backwards. We got swivels at the elbow as well as bends at the elbow, and we have swivels at the wrist. With Leo, the swivel is actually at the end of this little glove-like thing that he's wearing. See, he's wearing almost like these, they're like forearm protectors, so they kind of come down over his hands here and cover his wrists. So that's where the swivel is on this figure, as opposed to being at the actual wrist itself like it is with the other turtles. Of course, there's no joints in the torso because of the sculpt of the shell, but otherwise we do have the hinge-like joints at the thighs. They're a little awkward, but the legs can go outwards, and then they can come back and move forwards and backwards just like that. Then we've got swivels at the knee as well as bends at the knees, and we've got swivels at the ankle and the nice pivots rocking the ankles forwards and backwards. No side-to-side rocks, but still much more articulation than we've ever seen from the Ninja Turtles, specifically in the ankles down there. So you can get some pretty decent poses out of him. Now, with the way that the wrists are all kind of articulated up here, that's going to hinder the motion just a little bit. Like, there's definitely some moments where I wish I could move his wrists a little more independently from the rest of this forearm piece, but otherwise, it's really not too bad. You should be able to get these guys posed around pretty good. So, one of the things I wanted to point out, you'll notice on his little blue belt that he's wearing, he's got some cool things, like he's got the little new turtle emblem down here, he's got these little pouches down here, but on the back, he's got a holster for his sword. So Leo does still have a sword, but instead of 2 katanas, he now uses 1 odachi sword, which is a larger sword than the katanas. You can actually holster that on the back, just like so. You can see it just fits right there between the prongs, so he can hold that there. Or we can get him to hold it in his hands. My odachi sword is a little bit warped out of the box, but you could probably straighten that out just with a little bit of work there. One thing is the articulation doesn't really allow for very good two-handed poses with this, because this is definitely a sword you would see him probably swinging around using both hands, so I wish I could get some better two-handed poses out of this, but it's still cool that we've got this new little bit of a bigger sword. One of the other poses I always wanted to do with him too is like laying it over his shoulder, because you know, he kind of stands there holding this big sword over his shoulder, and it's a little rough trying to get him to pose that way as well. Now, if this particular version of the odachi sword is not good enough for you, he does come with a second sword, which is actually the same sword, but powered up. So you can see it's like that glowing weapon thing going on now. So it's made of a translucent blue plastic with like a flame effect on the front there. Since this one's got a bigger handle, he actually does get better two-handed gripping poses out of it. Still a little limited because of the articulation, but it's a really cool accessory, and I like it quite a bit. And I guess if you want, you can always have him holding on to both of these swords if your Leo still wants to be a two-handed sword wielder there. So like that, you can still have 2 swords in Leo's hands if that's something that you want to do. So in addition to that, he does come with the same little throwing stars that we've got with all of the other turtles there, kind of a staple for Ninja Turtles action figures. And another accessory that Leo includes is his very own skateboard, much like Michelangelo. It's a different mold than Mikey's, and this one is done in like a translucent blue, so it's almost like that powered up type of effect like his sword there, but it does have wheels there, so look at that. You can actually roll that on smooth surfaces, which is really cool. He doesn't come with all the stickers and stuff to decorate it like with Mikey, but hey, we got Leo with a skateboard, and I think that's a pretty cool little extra accessory. You can have him hanging out with your Mikey on the skateboard if you want. Alright guys, it's comparison time. I want to start by putting this guy side by side with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of the Rise of the TMNT Leonardo, because I want to show you guys that even though they are the exact same figures, the ones that were released at San Diego Comic-Con have a lot more painted details. Specifically with Leo, the new retail version is missing all the stripes from his arms and his legs that are supposed to be on the figure. Also on the back of the shell, he's supposed to have some extra painted detail that was on the San Diego Comic-Con versions. The only big difference is the little turtle emblem on the belt on the new one is painted. Plus, the new retail release comes with the extra accessory of the skateboard, which was not included with that San Diego Comic-Con release. And just for fun, let's go ahead and stand him alongside the 2012 version of Leonardo, the original 1988 version of Leonardo, Next Mutations Leonardo, and the 2003 version of Leonardo. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Leonardo. Overall, I think it's a solid action figure. It feels really nice, it poses really well, it's got a lot of accessories just like we've seen with everybody else. And even though he's lacking some paint details that we saw on that San Diego Comic-Con version, the overall figure itself doesn't feel unpainted. He still looks really nice. Now I will say, I think Leo is my least favorite of this new batch. There's just something about the overall look that's not really doing it much for me, but hey, that could all just be personal opinion there, and you may feel differently. The new Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures are hitting store shelves right now. The official launch date is October 1st, but they're already leaking out at places like Walmart and Walgreens, so happy hunting, my friends. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment to let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.